Hello. Okay, so just recording this video because it's been pretty much almost 4 weeks to the day since the last videos that I would have done on me, myself, and I. So what's happened since then? Well, a lot and very little at the same time. At the time, obviously, I just found out that the operation wasn't successful in terms of putting in the plaque. And I was told that I was going to have to be sent to Melbourne for the next size up, which was a 22mm plaque. So um, in the coming days, as my eye opened, I didn't recover my full vision in the way that I might have expected. I wasn't really expecting the level of double vision that I had, and that's because, as I found out a week later when I went back to see the specialist, what they did is they detached this muscle here in my eye so that they could turn the eye around, so basically it was facing inwards, facing 90-degree inwards, so they could see, detach the muscle, lift up what's called the conjunctiva, so that they could then insert, like sort of slide in the plaque. But then they realized that the tumor on the inside was actually a lot bigger. So there was this kind of crown element, which is a lump, and then there are these kind of, I don't know what you call them, flanges or something that spread up and down. So it ended up being, instead of being 10 centimeters in 10 millimeters in diameter, ended up being 17 by 13. So anyway, so then what I was finding is that I had this section of single vision, and then double vision was pretty much everywhere else, as this eye wasn't able to move in line with this eye. That kind of started to resolve itself to a degree, but here I am 4 weeks later, I still have double vision, I guess, anywhere outside. So probably from this point there to the right is okay. So if I'm following my finger, I might have to invert this, but if I'm following my finger, I have single vision to my right, that's okay. I have single vision going up, but then as soon as I start coming across to the left, once it's slightly off center, then I see two fingers basically, and it's the same as I go down. So I have a little bit of double vision. Then fast forward another couple of weeks, it was like, all right, well, this is clearly growing, we're going to have to go interstate. South Australia, where I live, entered into a state of lockdown because we had a spate of coronavirus cases where previously we had pretty much almost eliminated community level COVID. So it was then a question of, all right, other Australian states were starting to shut their borders, and I knew that I had to be sent at that point to Melbourne to have this larger plaque inserted. So a week ago yesterday, my specialist found out that there is no such thing as a 22mm plaque, and so, or rather, I found out from the specialist. I don't know how long he knew, but I was always under the impression that there was a 22mm plaque. So he got in touch with his counterparts in Sydney, where they do something called stereotactic radiotherapy, which I don't really know how it varies from standard radiotherapy, but basically it's a non-invasive form of treatment. Because it's non-invasive, it's only about 8 years old here in Australia. It came to Australia in 2012. And at that point we kind of decided, all right, well, with all these cases, over the weekend we decided that really we just need to get the hell out of South Australia. So on Tuesday I bought a flight. Tuesday night I boarded a plane to Sydney, where I currently find myself at the moment, so I could go and have my first appointment at the Prince of Wales Hospital here in Sydney, and meet my new specialist, my new doctor, my third doctor in this little journey that I've been on. So, you know, we've had, since day one, it was like, all right, well, we've got a tumor. Has it spread? No, it hasn't spread. Is it treatable? Yes, it's treatable, but I'll lose a considerable part of vision in that eye. Is it, and then, okay, you know, it was supposed to be a slam dunk, straight in, bish bash bosh, get it done and get out, but obviously that didn't happen. I then found out that the treatment that I had been expecting wasn't going to be the treatment, and now I am going to have this radiotherapy. But along that way, again, it was, you know, I went for an ultrasound. I said, oh, it's grown by 15%, and you know, it's been this kind of up and down roller coaster of good news and bad news. With, you know, I suppose the good news has been, you got to remember fundamentally that my life expectancy is still going to be pretty normal, so that's the upside. But there is going to be significant loss in vision in my right hand side. So what is the stereotactic treatment? Well, it's what they're going to be doing is firing radioactive beams, various angles into the eye to neutralize the tumor, and the current and the plan at the moment is to have 5 10-minute sessions. I think that's the correct dosage for me and for the tumor as it stands, and I begin that on Wednesday. So it'll be put on my big boy pants and head off to the hospital for my first radiotherapy. The side effects in the short term supposedly will just be sort of eye loss and eyelash hair loss and fatigue, and then around sort of 4 to 6 months and on to 3 years I'll start to sort of lose vision in the eye where they've been firing the beams to the eye. But I've got to provide a lot of credit to my boss. He said, look, if you're going to go through some difficult times, you might as well intersperse it with as many positive things as possible. So I'm in the beautiful Coogee Beach. I could have been staying 5 minutes from the hospital, but I decided to stay by the beach. Instead, it's a half an hour walk to the hospital, which is good. It's all part of exercise. But so I'm in a beautiful location. I'm very lucky to be here. Unfortunately, I don't have my family with me. They're supporting me from home, but they're coming on Friday. Today's Saturday, so I'll have 2 treatments without them, and then the management and will bring the chaos, and we'll have a nice time here in Sydney as a family. They'll be able to go off and do some tourism whilst I'll be perhaps just recovering in and out of treatment. But just wanted to send a message out there to anybody who's worried. Life is good. Life will continue. I won't really be able to play ball sports anymore, but at least it sounds like from the doctor I'll be able to close out my season. So once I go back, they always have a summer break here in Australia for the tennis season. I'll be able to catch the second half, so that may be a bit of a swan song, but it's nice that at least I'll be able to do that, as I kind of suddenly I had been thinking that maybe I'd played my last game at a decent level, but anyway, there we go. Life is full of, I guess, surprises and all that jazz, but it's good, and you've got to look at the bright side of things. Anybody out there who thinks that if anybody who's out there who's never come across ocular melanomas or eye cancer, as long as it's very treatable and life just go on. So it's all good. So I love I love you all, and I'll speak to you soon. And rest assured that I'm in a good place, physically and mentally. So literally and figuratively. Anyway, ciao.